We have with us today Mr. Ratan Kesh, who is a Senior VP of Customer Service in HDFC Bank. Ratan, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Maybe we could talk a bit about the history of HDFC in terms of some of the innovations that HDFC has done over the last couple of decades.
Right. HDFC Bank came into banking industry way back in '94. Now, before that, banking in India was more primarily consisted of two kinds of banks. One are the PSU bank, public sector bank. They had the network, but their service was pathetic, so to say. They did have some product, but did not have wide range of products. So the private sector banks never existed, but the large foreign banks that existed at that point, they were very good in products. They were fantastic service, but they never had the reach. So HDFC Bank thought that the only way to capture Indian market is bring a synergy between the two. Now, in order to deliver great service, we thought that it is very important to invest in technology right from the beginning. We were the first company to have some of the high-end technology investment in terms of data warehouse, for example. We'll talk about. Now, today, we can track every single customer with every single transaction that you do anywhere across the world. We can actually and we can measure the profit that we make out of you on a real-time basis. And that's the capability that we have. And we actually track a customer on a life cycle basis. So we get a customer who is a new employee who has joined a company. We open his salary account, and then we have an ability to look at your behavior and track you for the next phase of your life and actually offer you all the products which you may need.
Fascinating. In fact, since you are handling customer service quality, customer demands have increased over the last 20 years, and I'm sure they'll increase further. So how do you see the customer feedback in terms of how do you see customers requiring more and more products and services over the next few years? Where do you see the innovations happening there?
Essentially, it's all about getting convergent. Going forward, more and more, it's not going to be banking that we go, it's banking that we do. And that we do it anytime, anywhere. We actually ran a campaign, and it's very relevant. We actually ran a campaign which said, I hate going to the bank. And we found that from the age group of 25 to 40 years, they actually hate to go to the bank. So service requirements are changing from those hardcore greeting courtesy to more and more how do you really make through technology make products available to them. Turnaround time is going to be significantly different from what it used to be. It's no more measured in days, it's actually measured in hours and even measured in seconds.
As you know, India has got 1.2 billion people. A large chunk of them have not got access to banking services. So what are the innovations that some of you are doing to access the rural customer, the less tech-savvy customer, to get access to banking services for the first time?
One of the things that my MD talks about, and he says that India will actually grow only when we have the ability to connect the Bharat with the India of the country. So that's very, very important. So how to really connect the Bharat with the India is only through technology. Because while the banks do not open branches in a rural area, is because economically those are not viable. Unfortunately, government has been talking about financial inclusion and putting a lot of pressure on the banks saying that you go and open branches.
Right.
But the fact that the government and the entire ecosystem has to work on it, it means that if you cannot provide a road, how can you expect a bank to open a branch?
Right.
Therefore, we are actually working with the government, and we understand the government is actually doing a whole lot of work. Aadhaar is one of the big things that they have done. UIDI card, which is going to help us. So we are creating bank in a box. We'll just have one box, which is like a micro ATM, which will do everything starting from opening an account to transfer of cash and then withdrawal of cash, everything that will be done in a bank in a box. So it will be run on solar because you don't probably need even electric energy, so it will run on solar. It will identify using your biometric or even with your retina scanner. So that's what we are kind of looking at. So that's what is the innovation next step.
A lot of management students have this myth in their mind that a banking career is high flying, high salaries and glam all the way. But from your experience, maybe tell them a bit more about what it's really like to work in a bank.
That's a very interesting point that you made. Many years back when I was in schools, some of the neighbors, not my dad of course, he was a little different. Some of the neighbors used to say, if you do a good study, you will get a job in banking. And why it is so good job? They said that you don't have to do a lot of hard work. So that was the definition of a good job those days. But over a period of time, guess what? Almost all of us do work almost 24/7.
Yeah.
Now, people say that, that's my view, people say that how do you really connect and disconnect with work and office? Right. We don't really say that way. We say it's an extension of work in office and at home, and home is office is an extension of home. I mean, that's how it works. It's loads of hard work for sure. But the best thing which you actually a few minutes back we spoke about is that entrepreneurship. Now, in HDFC Bank, which is what I am really proud of, which you see that every employee thinks that I'm an entrepreneur. So I'm creating something for the bank. So we all run our department like I'm an entrepreneur. This is my department. But we realize that if you have to really innovate, you got to go outside the paradigm and think something very different. So for example, if you ask me a question, who is the largest camera selling company in India? It is not Canon's, it is the Nokia.
Oh yes, exactly.
Who is the largest music selling company in India? It is Airtel. Right. It's not HMB, right? So that's what it is. You don't know where is your competitor. So once you're an entrepreneur, you actually look at the whole paradigm and not just look at your own paradigm.
So how would a management student develop that mindset to be an entrepreneur within the company? Is there anything that they can do now, or what is it?
I was just today morning, in fact, I got a tweet from Richard Branson, and he says that entrepreneurship is something to invest in something which you like, which is of your interest, and convert that into capital. So that means you got to actually identify what you like to do.
Correct.
What is of immense interest to you, and if you can convert that interest into something that is a capital, there will be loads of people who will be wanting to invest on you.